What if the Bible's darkest secret isn't in Revelation, but hidden in Genesis 6? A time when angels left heaven, when giants walked the earth, when humanity had lost all sense of right and wrong. A world so corrupt, so violent, that God's own heart was broken. And yet, in the midst of this chaos, one man found favor. One man chosen to survive it all. Buckle up, because what you're about to see, most churches never teach. This is the story of the Nephilim, the giants, and the untold truth behind the flood. The world was still young. Life seemed normal. Families were growing. Children were being born. And the earth was full of people, living, laughing, working. On the surface, everything looked peaceful. But appearances can be deceiving. Beneath this calm, darkness was quietly spreading. Genesis 6 tells us, when human beings began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Stop right there. Who were these sons of God? Angels, divine beings, powerful forces beyond human comprehension? Something shifted the balance of creation. Something that should never have touched the earth had come down. And it wasn't just curiosity or fascination that brought them. It was desire. They saw human women and chose them as wives. And in that forbidden union, a seed of chaos was planted. On the surface, life continued. Children playing, markets bustling, families celebrating birth. But underneath, an unseen storm was brewing. And from this storm, legends were born. Giants would walk among humans, heroes of old, men of renown, and the world as people knew it was about to change forever. So, who were these sons of God? The Bible gives us a clue. In the book of Job, the same phrase describes angels standing in the presence of the Lord. Powerful, heavenly beings, created to serve, to obey, to shine in God's glory. But something went terribly wrong. Some of these angels left their place. They left heaven itself. They came down to the earth, and they crossed a line that no being should ever cross. They looked at human women and wanted them. They took them as wives. They chose desire over obedience, power over purpose, and that choice would shake the earth. Think about it. Divine beings walking among humans, interacting, marrying, producing children. Imagine the chaos, the fear, the awe. Humans looked up at them and felt small, powerless, and yet fascinated. Scholars debate the meaning even today. Were these angels fallen? Were they divine human hybrids? Or were they men from the line of Seth, corrupted by ambition and pride? Whatever they were, the results were the same. The earth began to change. Something unnatural was taking root, a corruption that no human law could stop. And from this union came beings unlike any seen before, the Nephilim. Giants, heroes of old, men of renown, and the world was about to feel the weight of their presence. From the forbidden union of the sons of God and human women came a new generation, beings unlike anything the world had seen. The Bible calls them the Nephilim, foreign ones. These were not ordinary humans. They were giants, massive, strong, terrifying, heroes of old, men of renown. Imagine walking through an ancient village, sunlight hitting cobblestones, and a shadow falls across the street. A giant strides past, 10, 12 feet tall, muscles rippling, eyes that could see through you. People stop, whisper, pray silently that he doesn't notice them. Numbers 13 will later tell us, we looked like grasshoppers in their eyes. That's the scale of their presence. One step and the ground shakes. One glance and hearts freeze with fear. They were warriors, conquerors, legends in the making. Villagers would pass stories from mouth to mouth, tales of their strength, their battles, their victories. And yet, every step of their birth carried the weight of rebellion. Their existence was a living reminder. The boundary between heaven and earth had been broken. Creation itself was being bent toward chaos, and where giants walked, fear, pride, and violence followed. These children of rebellion did not bring peace. They brought terror. Their strength intimidated, their fame commanded respect, and their hearts often mirrored the corruption of their world. And as the Nephilim grew, so did the darkness. The world was shifting under their feet, toward something the human mind could barely comprehend, toward violence, pride, and total moral collapse. The Nephilim were not the only problem. Their presence magnified the darkness already growing in human hearts. The Bible says, "The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time." Every thought, all the time, evil, no good left. Violence spread like wildfire. Robbery, murder, cruelty. Families torn apart, villages destroyed, wars waged for pride, for power, for nothing at all. The earth was soaked in blood and fear. And the giants, they made it worse. They were leaders, warriors, legends, men who inspired both awe and terror. Their armies crushed villages. Their demands for worship silenced dissent. Their strength left no room for mercy. Picture it. Towns trembling as giants walk past, rulers plotting, neighbors betraying neighbors, parents teaching children hate instead of love. Chaos everywhere. Trust had vanished. Peace was extinct. And God, who had breathed life into humanity, who had looked at creation and called it very good, watched it all with a breaking heart. He had made humans with his own hands, and now they had fallen into corruption so deep that nothing could stop it. Rebellion and sin had become the air people breathed. The Nephilim were living symbols of what happens when boundaries are broken, when power and desire replace obedience and mercy. And it was only getting worse. The world had become a place where evil didn't just exist, it ruled. Where the cries of the innocent were drowned out by the laughter of the proud and the roar of the giants. God's patience, though infinite, was reaching a limit. The story of humanity was heading toward a terrifying climax, one that would shake the world to its foundations. The corruption of the earth reached its peak. Every corner of creation was touched by evil. Every heart, every thought, every action steeped in violence and pride. And then the Bible says something almost unimaginable. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. Imagine that. God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one who breathed life into Adam and Eve, the one who called everything very good, now grieved. His heart was breaking. He had given humans free will, hope, and life, and they had turned it into chaos. They had corrupted themselves and the world around them, and he made a decision that would change the course of history forever. "I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, for I regret that I have made them." Total destruction, not just of humans, but of animals, birds, all creatures that moved along the ground. The earth itself would be cleansed by judgment, but even in this moment of impending judgment, God's mercy lingered. His heart, though heavy, still sought one who would walk with him, one who had not joined the corruption, one who could carry hope forward. That one man was Noah, chosen not for power, not for wealth, not for fame, but for faithfulness. And in Noah, God's plan to restart creation, a fresh beginning, began to take shape. The world would fall, but mercy would endure. Amid a world spiraling into violence, terror, and corruption, one man stood apart: Noah. He didn't chase fame. He didn't join the armies of the giants. He didn't revel in greed, pride, or violence like everyone else. He walked faithfully with God. Imagine living in a world where every neighbor, every friend, even your own family had turned their hearts to evil, and you alone chose obedience. You alone chose righteousness. That was Noah, and God noticed. Verse 8 says, "But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord." One man, one family, the spark of hope in a darkened world. And then God gave Noah a task, a monumental task, a command that would require unwavering faith and courage. Build an ark, God said, a massive vessel, large enough to carry your family and every kind of animal. Noah didn't question. He didn't hesitate. Day after day, year after year, he hammered, sawed, and shaped wood. Every stroke was an act of obedience, every beam a symbol of trust in God. But the world around him laughed. They mocked. They called him a fool. They chased after the giant's power, marrying, partying, and ignoring the warning. Yet Noah persevered, because walking with God meant trusting even when the world mocked, even when it seemed impossible, even when the darkness of corruption threatened to swallow everything. And in that faithfulness, God's plan began to unfold. The ark would not just save a family, it would save creation itself. Then the moment came. The sky darkened. The fountains of the deep broke open. Rain fell like the world had never seen before. Sheets of water pounding the earth, rivers swelling into unstoppable torrents. The world outside the ark descended into chaos. Men and women, giants and warriors, animals and creatures alike, all were swept away by the floodwaters. Picture it. Villages submerged, fires extinguished by relentless rain, the ground shaking as waters swallowed mountains and valleys alike. Screams echoed through the storm, drowned by the roar of the deluge. Inside the ark, Noah and his family remained safe. Every step they had taken in faith, every plank hammered, every instruction obeyed, had led them here. The ark was more than wooden nails. It was salvation itself. Outside, the giants, the Nephilim, faced their end. Their legendary strength meant nothing against the relentless waters. They too perished, swallowed by the judgment of God. Humanity's corruption, the pride, the violence, the fear, all erased from the face of the earth. Only 8 souls remained: Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. A fresh beginning, a chance for life to be reborn. And as the rain continued, the ark floated over a cleansing world. The chaos outside was gone. The earth was empty. And yet, in God's mercy, hope remained. One family, one act of obedience, one new start. The story of Noah and the flood is not just ancient history, it's a warning and a message for us today. Jesus himself said the last days would be just like the days of Noah. People eating, drinking, marrying, completely unaware of what's coming, until sudden destruction arrives. The same evil spirits that corrupted the pre-flood world are still at work now. They tempt humanity to chase power, pride, and selfish desires, to ignore God, to live only for themselves. But here's the hope. Just as Noah found favor, you can too. God is still looking for hearts that walk with him. He still offers mercy before judgment. Ask yourself, are you walking like Noah, faithful in a faithless world, or drifting with the crowd, chasing temporary gain while ignoring eternal truth? The choice is yours, right now, before the next chapter of history is written. If this story spoke to you, do 2 things. Smash that like button so others can discover this truth. Subscribe and hit the bell, because next we're going even deeper into the days before the flood. We're going to meet the man who never died, Enoch, and see what he knew about these fallen beings. Drop a comment. I'm choosing to walk with God like Noah. I read every single one. Remember, the Bible is not boring. It is powerful. It is real, and it speaks straight to your life today. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.